Okay, so now we're alone, Conrad. So first and foremost, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome everybody to the XTRF University Summit. It's great to see not only so many people here, but a great diverse location of people. Looking at the chat, we have people from Mexico, Buenos Dias. We have people over from New Jersey, from Netherlands. To introduce myself very briefly, my name is Stephen Hart. I'm the Senior Business Development Manager over here at XTRF. I work directly with clients on a daily basis, but also as well, I have the pleasure of leading a pre-sales team inside of XTRF, to which we have our second speaker here with us today, Mr. Konrad Oleś. Konrad, if you just give a brief hello.
Hello, my name is Konrad Oleś. I'm a pre-sales representative under command of Stephen Hart. He is my leader. It's great to be here. It's great to experience things like XTRF University Summit, and I wanted to thank everyone here that came. And Steve, floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So for all of the attendees here today, just to give you a preempt into what we're about to show you, we're going to split this very brief session. We only have 20 minutes. I wish we had more time, but we don't. But we're going to split this first session basically into two different parts. The first thing that I would like to talk about myself is, for those of you who may not have seen XTRF as a platform as a whole, I would just like to take you on a introduction ride and just show you the platform from a very basic level, not from a high level, just to show you the interface of the system and how all of the components inside of XTRF actually fit together. And then the second part of our 20-minute slot, I would like to actually break down a session between myself and Konrad discussing life within inside of XTRF. Konrad, who is a member, a very great and valued member of the XTRF team, came to us off of the basis of his studies. And what we do in the pre-sales team, we act as educators of XTRF to the outside world. And I would like to take some time just to talk about education inside of XTRF and bridging the levels of education life, study life, and work life inside of XTRF. And Konrad is a perfect example of how we operate that in our company. So without any further ado, I'm going to take you into our XTRF platform. Let me just start sharing my screen. And I think we're good. So as I said, this is going to be a very basic overview of the platform. I'm not going to cause any paralysis with too much information. This is not the context of this presentation. I would just like to go through the individual options, the individual functionalities of the platform with you. And my goal of doing this is to hopefully educate you on how a life cycle stage or how we could call this a 9-to-5 workday is actually managed inside of XTRF. So if we can put ourselves in the position of John Smith, for example, John, who would be a user of the XTRF platform, what John would do on a Monday morning, for example, when he would log into the platform, this would be the default screen that John would see. I'm going to move down our panels, both vertical and horizontal panels, just to show you the functionalities. But what John would do first thing on a Monday morning. Inside of XTRF system, there are not only a lot of functionalities that obviously improve workflow, improve customization of views of specific translation and localization project management, but also as well when it comes to automation, which is one of the keywords that we like to talk about when we're talking about XTRF. Through the panel that we have down here on the left-hand side, I hope you can see my mouse moving. There are a lot of options in here, but if, for example, John Smith or myself, we would have our favorite topics, so to speak, that on a daily basis, we would love to see that information updated constantly every single time we log in. For example, if I wish to see all of the vendors that I have within inside of my vendor pool, and of course we categorize vendors as translators inside of our platform. I have an instant view of this. Again, when it comes to the back end of any translation or localization project management process, there's always the invoicing. So of course, if I wanted to see all of the pending paid invoices, both for clients and also as well, obviously, for vendors, I have instant access to all of my most frequently visited tabs inside of the platform. I have also my projects pending right here. I'm not really going to focus on the opportunities section in this session today because of the time limited. The opportunity section is very much in depth, more for medium to large size LSPs that, for example, would have their own sales process inside, and they would be out there in the markets hunting, let's say, for new opportunities to actually come in to drive revenue for the company moving forward. Now, if we can start for example, and I like to call this a end-to-end translation project management process, we can start by obviously touching on a quotation. Now, a quotation inside of XTRF, this is where if we put ourselves in the place of being a project manager, for example, this is where, for example, we know that we have a project. We would like, for example, to create a new project through various language combinations as such, or it could be that we have done multiple quotations for projects in the past. This is basically where we can see all of the options that we have available. But the reason that I want to focus just on this tab right now is not because of the tab that we have at hand. It's more over in regards to the functionalities and the usability of XTRF. One thing that our clients, and we gratefully receive feedback all of the time, is the usability of the system, and that being the customizable side, because many different translation companies, regarding whether they're at any stage of either quoting a translation project, whether they're actually managing the project, or at the back end, every company works differently. Every company has their own specific way of how they handle their projects internally. Now, with XTRF and the platform itself, what we provide our users with is, for example, you will see this option here, which we like to call smart views inside of the platform, ready at the click of a button with all of your predetermined options available. So if you wanted to see at one click of a button, for example, all of the open quotations, all of the quotations from the last 30 days, etc., you will have instant access to all of these predetermined options available to you at the click of a button. But also as well, if we know, for example, that we wanted to go back in time, we wanted to review previous quotations that had been sent out within, let's say, the last quarter, and we know that we wanted to filter this either by project manager, if we know the client name, or, for example, if we know the dates of which we want to look at. The system is very, very much customizable in order to help the project managers and to involve all of the project stakeholders that are involved, either from the quotation stage right down, as I'd mentioned, to the invoicing. So in regards to usability, we try, and our clients love, the customizable options that we have inside of the system. Now, On a project level, now this is a very, very in-depth topic that I'm going to touch on very briefly, just from an overview point of view. I am going to come back to this topic in a minute and actually run what we like to call a smart project with you, so that you could actually see the process. But again, I hope from the previous tab, one thing that you can take away and you can familiarize yourself with throughout all of the platform is the customizable options. Again, if we wish to backtrack, we wish to look at all of the previous or maybe even future projects, we can do so from a click of a finger. Now, with the projects itself, it's very much customizable, not only through dates, but also we can go a little bit more granular into the detail that XTRF actually provides our clients, that provides our university colleagues. If, for example, we wish to filter all of the options available through, let's say, source language or the targeted languages, we could actually do so, even if this is down on a project manager basis. The system is very much filtered towards however you wish to look at data, however you wish to look at information inside. Of course, we can go more in depth into the platform by clicking on any previous project, and we would have all of the information there. Of course, due to timeframes, we will not be doing this today. But we will be very happy to touch more in depth on these in-depth topics down the line. Now, one thing is, once we have a project, once we have a quotation, the next thing is, for example, how we can manage our clients, how can we compact all of the data so that, for example, our users don't have to use 3 or 4 possible different solutions, whether that be external CRMs or whether that be project management tools or even a quotation tools. We actually compile all of the information inside of one system to make sure that you have a complete solution that works for your translation and your localization project needs. Again, all of the options are available in the customized views in regards to the filtered options of your specific choices. Now, one thing that I do want to spend just a few more minutes on than any other topic is everybody has an opinion in regards to which part of XTRF would be, in my terminology, would be the heartbeat of the system. Personally, for me, and obviously working with clients on a daily basis and speaking to great people on a daily basis, the vendor profiling inside of XTRF is one of the key heartbeats of the system, in my opinion. One thing is not only creating a quotation or converting that into an actual project, but we also need to know that once we have a project or we have a quotation that we want to be working on, that we have the right translators that meet our specific needs. Okay, so for example, if we are looking, let's say, for a translator that would be working, that would wish to have a project that is, for example, the source language of this specific project would be English, and let's say the target language of this same specific project would be Spanish. Instantly, the system provides us with a detailed list of all relevant vendors, translators that would fit the needs of their specific projects, even as down and as granular as to, for example, is this vendor working on a native language? This potentially could give you more comfortability when selecting a vendor inside of the system. But equally as important, that I just want to focus on very briefly, is we may find the best vendor, but is that vendor available for my project? Whether this project is this week or whether this project, for example, maybe in 2 weeks' time. Inside of XTRF, we invite all of our clients to invite all of their vendors to create their vendor profiles inside of our vendor portal of XTRF and to fill out all of their information. So instantly, from the search criteria that I've just described to you, I can instantly see, for example, that John Smith, who is my best imaginary friend, would be available to actually take on my project. I can instantly see that John has worked on my preferred language combinations in the past, and also obviously I can see that he's available. But one thing I know that John's available. Now, let me see the competences of John. Now, one thing that's very key when selecting and when moving forward with translation projects is making sure, again, that you can select the translator that best fits the needs. Now, feedback is key in making sure that your selection process for your vendors moving forward is confirmed, not only from our side as project managers, but we may be working with end clients that would also give their feedback. Let's move in very briefly into a scenario, into a situation that, for example, John Smith previously has done one translation project from English over to Spanish. The feedback that John received on this specific project itself was 5-star. It was fantastic. But John, for example, did another project that was from another translation that was from English to French. That potentially was not up to the standards as his Spanish, so we scored him later. What this does for the platform is not only for having the information, is John good at this, or is John potentially lacking in a different translation? But when moving forward and we're creating a new project, what this actually provides us with is key information when selecting the vendors moving forward. So in this scenario, John would have a 5 and John would have a 3 through or purely his translation, which would give John a benchmark, let's say, of 4. Now, when I briefly move into a project very shortly, I'm going to show you why this is relevant. One basic thing just on the invoicing side, obviously we in the translation world, both managing end clients and also as well working with either freelance, specifically with freelance translators, is actually getting paid. Now, you know, one thing that XTRF assists with the invoicing options is that let's just move into a very brief scenario that all of the invoices that have not been paid, for example, instead of our finance department, and let's imagine a scenario where there's over 50, 60 on this list, instead of our finance department or us as project managers sending invoices out to these people, reminding them individually, we can just simply multiple select all of the options, and with one click of a button, we can send reminders, and instantly we have automated the process on the finance side. Now, inside of XTRF, we don't have much time to talk about these aspects today, but we do provide a complete CRM so that you can keep all of your clients, all of the historical information such as emails, tasks, or you can create new emails, you can create a new call to John from the system, you can log the call, or you can plan a event with John, whether that be a call or a meeting inside of the future. But the main thing here is that the XTRF platform, it keeps everything from the project side and from the communication side together inside of the system itself, okay? But what I'm really going to jump to now, because of time, is I just want to jump into the project section and just show you how easy, user-friendly it is to create what we like to call a smart project here. So, for example, I'm going to give my project a very unique name. I'm going to select one of the clients, and for this purpose I am going to choose all of my predetermined that I know as a user that I use these workflows inside of my company. But for this demonstration, I'm going to choose a basic translation. Okay, now simply what we have to do in order to formulate and to continue with a smart project is the following. So let's imagine a scenario where I know all of my information. The client has a deadline of the end of the month. We already have a client reference number. We already know the amount of source words that's involved inside of the platform. I'm going to leave a very quick note to the client to make sure that this client is a VIP client, and internally we have a end of the month deadline. And then basically now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on the project. I know that this project that I want to start is from English from Great Britain, and I wish to translate this project directly into Spanish. We can choose from specializations if this is a specific retail client, for example, but for this, I'm not. Now, once we have uploaded, let's say, the source document, the document can be of many different types, and I've added the documentation file. Now, what this instantly does for us, this provides us either with a timeline view where we can easily customize and change this if we wish. But basically, the only thing now that we are left to do inside of this, of course, I don't have any payables, receivables, financials inside of this because I've not yet created them, but these are very easily added to the system, depending obviously on the projects that you're working on, but also as well the people that are actually responsible stakeholders for the project inside of the company. We can add project coordinators internally if we wish to do, and stakeholders. Quality assurance is available there, but what I want to do right now is I have my document, I have my project in hand. Now I want to choose my vendors. Now what I can basically do, I can send the job offers out to a pool of vendors if I wish, depending from my search criteria. And this goes back to what I showed you on the vendor profiles with John. The top 5, for example, it could be, or I can just very simply select my vendor, my preferred vendor. I can see that John is available here, so I'm going to choose John. And there we go. And then basically what is going to happen is that this would start automatically, and this would send the notification out to the vendor specifically that this job is available for him now to do. Of course, we have all of the customizable options that are there on the side panel as well. Now, John would receive this notification directly on his email. And with this would basically, my apologies, I believe my screen has turned off. I do apologize for that. So basically what would happen as a vendor, if we put ourselves now, we would receive this email notifying us that we have this job. We can open the job as a vendor in the platform, and very simply, we can download the files that we could actually work on. We can see all of the information that has been added, including the purchase order. And once, of course, we have finished the job, we can select, or we can upload the final document, and then we can basically tell the project manager that this job has been completed. So what basically I have just done is I've showed you very briefly how a project stance is inside of a smart project in XTRF with very brief functionalities. My deepest apologies for rushing, I believe, through that process, but because of time frames, I hope I provided you with a straight to the point, eagle-eye view of the platform. Of course, I would be very happy, and our team would be very happy to demonstrate more in depth should you wish. But now for the last few minutes, I'm going to move across to the second part, which will just take a few minutes. Now, as I mentioned to you, Konrad Olej is here with us because Konrad has actually joined us XTRF recently. Konrad has an educational background inside of studying translation, and Konrad is taking his studies to the next level by being a valued member of XTRF. And like I mentioned at the beginning, I just want to spend a few minutes bridging education studies together with actually working in the industry. So Konrad, as mentioned, I just wanted to speak with you about sharing the experiences in studying translation and how you're finding working life inside of the industry. So let me just start very briefly asking you about your educational background.
I'm sorry to interrupt, just two minutes, okay, Stephen,
No
because
problem.
we have to
No
move
problem.
to the next session.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'm studying translation and English philology at Krakowska Akademia of Andrzej Frycz-Modrzewski here in Krakow, Poland. During classes, I was not only just translating documents, for example, like literary and non-literary texts. I was also introduced to the topic of translation tools like CAT tools, TMSs like XTRF. I was put in a position also of a project manager and a proofreader.
Okay, perfect. So by combining your studies and let's say your first few weeks working inside of XTRF, taking from your studies, actually moving into the industry, what was the main thing that stood out for you?
Well, I was introduced into the topic of TMSs from a just basic overview, but it wasn't until I joined XTRF that I realized how much of an impact TMSs have on the translation and localization businesses as a whole.
Okay, perfect. So at the finalization, we do only have like a minute left. So at the finalization, Conrad, of your studies, I'm guessing that you may have plans to actually stay within the industry, possibly XTRF?
Yeah, most definitely. I see myself continuing to develop with XTRF. I have learned so much during my time here, which has only been 4 months, and work with great people who help me learn more, not only about XTRF, but more about the industry on a daily basis. Within our team, Steve, we also have great colleagues who are in the same position as me, both studying and working. And I think XTRF provides a great environment and to continue our studies and to develop in professional way at the same time. Having
Perfect.
great mentors always make us look forward to tomorrow.
Perfect. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, Conrad, thank you so much for your brief input. I wish we could have, I wish we had time to talk some more, but it's truly great to have passionate people like yourself and other people in your position in our company. Later in the event, one of our colleagues, Łukasz Kaleta, is involved in a separate session focusing on career paths in the industry. So please, I'm really looking forward to taking part and watching that session as well. So Conrad, thank you for sharing your story with us.